Unfortunately, the Mini is no more. One morning, a van changed lanes into the side of it on the M1, sending it flying into the concrete barrier in the middle of the motorway at 65 mph. Insurance deemed it uneconomical to repair, as every panel on the right side of the car, the bonnet, front bumper and front suspension would need to be replaced. So we had to look for something new. Introducing Courtney's 2015 Audi TTS.
So yeah, this is the new car. 2015 Audi TTS with 90k miles on the clock, and it's a manual. So why the TTS? Well, at the price, which is £13,500 we paid for this, I don't think anything comes close. We don't need loads of room, we don't have kids. The back seats don't really do anything, they're just there for convenience, and we barely ever use the back seats in the Mini anyway. We were looking for a smallish, sporty-ish, but still practical for getting to work and back sort of car, and the TTS ticks all those boxes. The other options would be like a Golf R and S1, but really they just didn't do it for us. And value for money, these are kind of insane. So £13,500, you get 100 horsepower more than the Mini, 120 horsepower more, something like that. The Cooper S was like 180 brake, this is 306. You get Quattro. You can't get an auto for this money, but we're not too fussed about that. Like, it's kind of a driver's car, and a manual suits it really well. But obviously you've seen the digital dash. That is a huge, huge plus. It doesn't currently have nav, but we can upgrade it to have nav and Android Auto and CarPlay, which I'll probably make a future video about. The handling is phenomenal, and the power delivery, very smooth, but it's also like so easy to go fast, probably too fast. Whereas the Mini, you had to kind of kick its head in a bit. The Mini had way more torque down low. This, you kind of have to rev it to get it going. Maybe that's fixed with a map. But yeah, this honestly seemed like the ultimate next step up from the Mini, I guess. There's a lot of people on the owners groups that leave Minis for TTSs, which we found out after we bought one, to be fair. They're definitely a logical next step. It's probably not going to stay completely stock. We actually accidentally bought one with a Miltech exhaust. It wasn't in the listing, neither was the panel filter it's got. I guess the guy selling it didn't have a clue what had been done to it by previous owners, but yeah, it has a Miltech exhaust with the valves and everything. I think it's the resonated catback, so it's pretty quiet. It's no louder than stock. You can't hear the engine or the exhaust over the stupid, like, fake engine sounds played through the speakers, which we'll also code out shortly. We have some carbon mirrors ready to go on it. There will probably be black badges and stuff going on. I don't know about like lowering in spaces and stuff. Courtney's pretty happy with it as it is at the minute, and we haven't thought that far ahead, but there will definitely be some future videos on the Audi, although, yeah, unfortunately, due to what's happened, there won't be any more Mini videos for the foreseeable. So, how does it compare to the Mini, and if you watch my channel for the Astra, to the Astra? Well, traction. Obviously with Quattro is a big difference that you notice. You can plant your foot in first, even with the wheel turned like full lock, and it just goes, no loss of traction. In the rain you can get it to drift a bit and to push, to understeer, kind of with all four wheels. You can get it to oversteer as well, power oversteer. U-turns, where legal to do so, and pulling out of junctions. You can get the background a little bit, and stability has to be off, but it'll do it. The traction compared to front wheel drive is insanely good. So my Astra has a bit more power, a bit more torque, but it just, if you put your foot down in some of the situations you do in this, the Astra wouldn't move in the slightest. It wouldn't even like want to set off, it would just sit there and spin the wheels. And this is night and day different. I will say, it takes away a bit from the fun. Which is partially why I'm glad we got the manual, because if it's so grippy, it's not even like entertaining to put your foot down. Like, childish, but you can
put your foot flat to the floor in the Astra, not go anywhere, pop and bang because of the traction control, and it's the most fun you'll have going 20 mile an hour in the rain. And in this, you do that and you double the speed limit in like 3 seconds. So swings and roundabouts, this is more capable, but maybe less entertaining. For an all-out track car, if you were willing to put coilovers and stuff on this, I think this would blow most things out of the water. People were calling them supercar killers when they first came out, and with good reason. The brakes, exquisite, they're 4 pots. They are way better than Cooper S brakes. Maybe a JCW compares, but yeah, these feel brilliant. Best brake feel out of anything I've tried. They're better than the APs on the Astra, which is like brand new 2 grand's worth of brakes, because they feel like stock, but they stop like nobody's business. Handling is brilliant as well. It does feel very planted. You're quite low to the ground. It is basically an S3 or a Golf, but squashed vertically. The wheelbase, I think, is the same and everything. So it feels like a big car, even though inside it feels tiny. Like, I barely fit, and I'm 5'7", and I feel like I'm cramped. Courtney's a bit shorter than me, and in the Mini, we used to just have to move the chair 2 clicks to fit both of us. Like, she'd have it 2 clicks forward, I'd have it 2 clicks further back, and it would be fine. Like, elbow position, legs bent the right amount, like, it would be perfect. In this, we haven't found something that works. If I was to move my chair back now, I would be like Surrey driver in it, too far away from the steering wheel just to get my legs in the right place. And currently my knees are nearly touching the back of the wheel, and for the first few days of driving the car, they were touching the back of the wheel. It's hard to heel toe. You might notice that I am braking, clutch in, and then switching from brake to accelerator with my right foot, not heel toeing, because the brake pedal is higher than the accelerator, and I can't get far enough away from the steering wheel without my arms being straight to really be comfortable heel toeing this car, which is a shame. With the Mini, there was sort of 2 clicks of the seat between me being comfy in it and Courtney being comfy in it, obviously because we both drive the car. In this, I feel it's really hard for me to fit without doing loads of adjustments, and I'm only 5'7". Like, a taller person would really struggle with this car, especially sharing it with someone shorter. Maybe that's better if you can get them with like electronic steering column and seat, you know, memory features and stuff, but gotta make do. But yeah, that's my only complaint about the car, really. Back seats are useless. There's a maximum height stated in the door of 4'9" for the back seats, so don't buy it if you expect to have adult passengers. It's really only good for children, and even then, if you're above like 5'5", they're not going to be able to put their feet under your chair. Obviously this one is a manual. You would have flappy paddles if you shelled out a bit more for the S-Tronic, but they were like 16 grand plus, and this was £13,000, which is a ridiculous deal for the amount of car that you get for your money. The manual gearbox is fine. First really short, probably because it's Quattro and they want to give you all of the power to the ground. You don't need long gears, you need sort of instant power delivery so that it doesn't bog on a launch. That being said, the clutch doesn't really feel up to heavy launchers, and I know to do more than 300 horsepower on these anyway, most people grade the clutch. I do find the gearbox a little bit notchy. I still prefer this over the throw of the Astra gear stick, which is about 40 feet between first and second. You have to pull it all the way back here. But as far as I know, these don't have insane reliability issues like the M32. Not as good as the Mini gearbox though. The manual gearbox on the Mini is like a work of art. I'm yet to find a better shifting experience. You also get drive select, so it has mag ride, like electronic dampers. You have efficiency, comfort, auto, dynamic, and individual modes to choose from, and those just change how stiff the damping is basically, and your throttle sort of sensitivity. Bang on Olufsen stereo, sounds brilliant. Heated seats, lane assist, which I haven't really used much. I can imagine it would be good on the motorway on long journeys, but for this sort of road, like, try and go around a cyclist, it's going to want to swerve you left and kill the cyclist, so it's not too helpful. That's one of the many ways that it can sort of cause more problems than it solves, having the lane assist. A lot of people probably just never use it. Thankfully it's not on by default, it's put on the end of the stalk.
So, final verdict on the TTS. Handles brilliant, goes quick, stops quick, plenty of room in the boot, and a good excuse to not take any passengers anywhere. What more do you need in a car? If you like the video, like, comment, subscribe and all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.